Good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. We are at the Danvers Accessibility Commission, and I'm gonna
But she was already
mute. There we go. And I'm calling this meeting to order at 6 p.m. We are going to move our agenda around just a little bit today, just so we can get through everything, and everybody who's here can make it. We do have a quorum, though we do have a smaller group today, so I do anticipate maybe a few more people will join. So starting from the top of our agenda, we do not have minutes for our last meeting. As our commission knows, we are, sorry, very distracting having a cat in the background. As the commission knows, Jasmine Ramon, our director of Equity and Inclusion, is out right now. And so I don't have the minutes from last meeting. I do need a volunteer to take notes for today. Is anybody available to do that? It doesn't have, okay, Mara, awesome. And I'll say when you're done, if you want to scan them and send them to me, that would be great. And I can get them.
Yeah, I'm away starting tomorrow till Monday, so I can get them to you by Tuesday. Is that okay?
Yeah, no rush. That's fine.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So we don't need to take a vote. We're just going to defer minutes from last month, and we're going to head over to public comment. And I don't see anybody, so I think that we can probably speed right past that today. And so we're, as I mentioned, we're going to move some things around a little bit. I'm going to move up the crosswalk mural item to next, so that Fawn can get to an event. So Fawn, would you like to give us an update of what's been going on?
Yep.
I can't hear you. I think you got muted.
That's correct. I am
There we
muted.
go.
Sorry about that.
That's
JD,
okay.
feel free to chime in anytime because I know you were involved in some of this. But after last meeting, I was really excited about the idea of the crosswalk that they are planning to move to connect the two ends of the rail trail near Western Cycle. And just did a quick little search and saw some great ideas up in Amesbury. They actually have a whole website that talks about the process of having artists paint your crosswalks and the process that you go through your town. And I just, even some of the ideas that they had on the website were just so inspiring. Some of them were, you know, very specifically germane to what we're doing, like people painted symbols of people in wheelchairs and with canes for visibility and, you know, just all different types of mobility in the crosswalk. I thought it just seemed like there's a lot of opportunity there. And then I started to think, well, what if we had a say in all of the crosswalks as they are redone? Wouldn't that be kind of exciting and a way to increase visibility and get people talking? And so I met with JD, we drafted an email and we sent it to, I forget the names of the two gentlemen who helped with grant writing. I haven't heard any response from them, but we also sent it to Aaron Henry, who is in the planning department of the town, I believe. And he actually was very responsive, was very excited about this project and has already taken it to the people who are in charge of that crosswalk. And he said, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, as expected, he met a slight amount of resistance, but he thinks that our timing is perfect and that any resistance that they are expressing is something that's very workable. I also reached out at his agreement to Mr. Surratt to see if we could have high school students involved in this, which would, you know, certainly include more aspects, more segments of the town, and probably bring down cost. And he immediately replied. He's very excited. So far, this is moving forward. Mr. Henry and I were supposed to meet sometime this week. We just haven't been able to connect. I reached out to him late last week. I didn't hear back. I reached out again today to see if there's any way we can connect tomorrow, and I didn't hear back. I'm wondering if maybe he's away. But I'm hoping he wanted to just have a quick, you know, video meeting just to kind of touch base and find out what our next steps are. So that's pretty much it.
That's fantastic. Does anybody have questions or comments? Or JD, do you have anything to add?
Not really. I mean, I think it went really well. Everyone seemed pretty like receptive to it who actually got back to us. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it was just the next step was this next meeting, and it seems like we're in, early enough that we can kind of forward any issues we might come across. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this work. You both
I think
did.
it's exciting.
Like,
I think it'll be
yeah.
great.
So if there's anything that you need, like in an official capacity from the commission, let us know. You can always draft a letter or, I'm not really sure what else they might need, but if there's anything that they need, our next meeting is a little bit up in the air just because I don't have official confirmation that we are on for November 14th. I still would like you to hold that evening, but I just can't confirm that that's when it's happening. So I will let you know as soon as I know. I should know early next Monday. But if anything changes between now and then, just we'll have you on the agenda for next meeting so you can give us an update on where things stand. And then, of course, as you both know, but if there's anything that comes up between meetings and you need support, definitely reach out. And I'm happy to either meet or just have an email conversation. So this is
Thank you.
very exciting.
Will do.
I'm really like ecstatic about this. So okay. So going back to the agenda, we're going to go back to item number 4. Amy, I put you on the agenda for this because you broached the subject, but don't feel that you have to be the only one who talks. I just figured you could introduce it and get us going.
So I had thought that it would be a good idea for us to kind of discuss like the current context of kind of the events that have occurred over the past, I feel like, few weeks regarding, safety in Danvers, looking at, the assault that occurred with, by and to some of our community members, particularly that person, has disabilities. And I just feel that it's pertinent for us to kind of have this discussion. And, we looked at a little bit, I think yesterday, some of us that met for the living room conversations, but thinking about how we can support the community, because I see a piece of education, there's a piece of support, where can we kind of come in, what makes sense. So just kind of wanted to bring that to the table and see what everybody was thinking.
Thank you. So I will open it up. If anybody has, initial comments, fun, go ahead.
I didn't want to let the silence hang. I totally agree. I think it's absolutely something we should be putting front and center with our commission. I have to admit I'm not full of ideas. The living room conversations last night were really great, but I also left just feeling a bit overwhelmed, like where on the wheel of this cycle of 100% connected causes and effects, where do we try to insert and where would make the most impact? So I'm not sure. That's not very helpful. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about it.
It is okay. Part of why I wanted, and I was very grateful that Amy offered or brought up the topic, is that this is an opportunity to debrief a little bit too, debrief in a space where the community can see it, and so if other people in the community want to hear what we have to say about it or how we're feeling, that this is that opportunity. So we don't have to have all the answers tonight.
Does it make sense that should the commission sort of put out a statement?
Maybe.
Acknowledging our concerns and just how horrific and not in the spirit of our community. I mean, it gets us some visibility.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's an opportunity where we could have a voice, a unified voice to the community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I like that idea. I'm wondering if there's a way. Oh, sorry, JD.
No, I was just saying, I think that's a good idea. You can continue though.
I guess I would just feel more encouraged if our commission could even take it one step further and see if there's something active that we
Mhm.
could partner with our statement, because I agree it's appropriate for I think the statement's appropriate, and I think that it is good visibility for us. But I would like to see if there's some project we could do, something that's actually tangible,
Yep.
Mhm.
an activity of something that really helps the community that was affected. Maybe the individual, although I feel like that the individual and the family have certainly had a lot of wonderful resources directed their way, and I'm sure well deserved. But I guess I just think bigger picture. Is there a curb cut we can look at? Can we work on moving the fire hydrant that is evidently in the middle of the Center Street parking lot, sidewalk? Can we do something that is tangible along with that? Of course, I don't have a specific idea, but I just
So
feel like that might take it, to what I think for our commission is the appropriate level, even beyond the statement.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that the issue is bigger than the one incident that hit the news,
Yes.
especially considering the reports that have come to me about kind of bigger, additional bullying instances in the last couple of weeks. Some of them related, and kind of middle school students calling or calling back to the attack on Mr. Anderson. Um, and so I think that the idea of bullying and safety for people with disabilities is even bigger than what has been in the news. One thing that I was thinking of, but I wanted to check in with everybody first, was reaching out to the police department and offering our commission as a resource and support for anything that they're doing moving forward as from like a community policing standpoint. I also, unrelated to this, actually had a meeting with, um, sorry, I'm trying to find her actual thing. The person who runs Pathways to Friendship at the Arc of Massachusetts, which is an education program. It was totally unrelated to my role with Town of Danvers, but rather than my day job. But I was thinking that it might be something that we could bring in here. So it is a program which Amy and Mara, you may already be familiar with it. Do either of you know Pathways to Friendship?
I've heard of it. I don't know a lot of the details.
Okay, so I can give like a 2-second, this is what I understand it to be. So it is a program that builds in both training and resource supports and kind of event ideas, with the goal of developing friendships between people with disabilities and community members, and they cover all ages. I did ask if they did trainings at the middle school level, and they do. So that might be something that we could, recommend to the middle school or the curriculum directors in the schools. So because I agree, I think it needs to be more than a statement, which is why I hesitated to do anything before our meeting.
Yeah,
I love that idea, Christy.
I really did like struggle with the kind of idea of making some sort of statement about it. I just really didn't know what to do about that. It really caught me off guard, and Katrina and I went down to Johnny's when they were having the kind of fundraiser there. So I kind of hung out with him and his mom for a bit, met them, and I kind of like extended, like, said like, hey, we're like the Accessibility Commission. Like, if you ever need anything, let us know. So just to kind of like let them know that we exist at all, and stuff like that. And it was the one kind of silver lining was just the amount, like the sheer amount of people that were coming through to see him, to like see how he was doing, how his mom was doing. and to just like offer their support in whatever way they could. So it was really nice to see that. And there was not only like just community member, like people that you would expect, like people who, no, that sounds bad. I was gonna say like people who just want to be seen, like glad handing, but like it was all different kinds of people. A lot of people with disabilities as well, which was really nice to see, like people in the disability community itself kind of be there to back them up, which was really nice. And yeah, I think it would be good for us to do a statement. And I had talked to, can't remember their names, at the Danvers Cares meeting, the people who were kind of in charge of like maybe student events or something at the high school and middle school. And I talked to them about speaking because I thought, oh, and then this kind of just hammered it home. Like, I mean, I feel like I need to get in front of these kids to some degree just to make it, I don't know, just to kind of like familiarize and normalize like a conversation with a disabled person for them, you know?
Yeah. I'm so
So I
glad
don't
you
know
were
if you
able to
have,
go. Thank you for representing the commission in that.
yeah, I just realized I completely missed the living room conversations though.
It's okay.
I can't
You
believe
can't do
that.
everything.
I do have an excuse. My parents were putting down their dog this morning.
Oh,
So we did
Oh.
like one last walk with her last night with all the dogs.
Oh,
And so that was kind of like forefront of mind. So I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry guys,
No.
but
it is okay.
yeah.
You have done other work for the commission. You don't have to be at everything.
Exactly.
right, but
So,
these are
I'm-
cool. They're cool and I like them and they mean a lot to me. So I do want to.
I'm so sorry about the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, you know. She was 16 though, so she lived a
Wow.
long, good life.
Good. Is anybody interested in taking on a first pass of a statement?
I mean, what
What do you, yeah,
What
that's
is-
the
That's
other
kind of
question.
what I
What do we
struggle
want to
with, like-
say?
like
Yeah.
how do you say it without just I don't know, maybe yeah, I feel like I could maybe take a crack at it. I just got to think about it a little bit.
Mhm.
I feel like there's an opportunity to obviously, I feel like the things that we would likely start off a statement with have been said, right? By other organizations. But I think that there is an opportunity for us to really talk about being in partnership with and looking at, inviting community members to our meetings to either, bring to public comment thoughts or ideas that they have, things that we could really, consider because, bringing this to us, we can generate some ideas, but it definitely takes, the whole community to really put a path toward a solution. And so I wonder about that, and I wonder about, that sense of invitation. Is one of the pieces that kind of brings to my mind.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
jotted down this.
It's a good moment definitely for like a call to action. And I kind of wonder what you guys think about like do we address the thing itself or do we more do a general kind of like about, you know, safety in the community and keep it very general?
I
I
like that
Yeah.
idea because I think, I don't remember who brought up the point, but I think there's been so much focus on this one incident that I think there's a number of folks who have been impacted that maybe aren't getting, and I use recognition in a, they're not being considered or, and so I think if we can sort of focus it more on safety and, um, compassion.
Yeah. I agree. I
agree.
do
I
think it
I
needs to
love the
be.
pathways idea though, Christy. I wish that I think that sounds really promising, and I feel like if you'll pardon the expression, striking while the iron is hot.
Mhm.
I would imagine the school system will be very receptive to this, especially if this meeting is getting views and if we are able to mention that we are, proposing resources to the school system. I mean, I would imagine that people would be following up with their school administrators to say, hey, I heard this is happening. When is this
Yeah.
going to occur? We want this. And I think that may help move it forward quickly if Pathways to Friendship is available. That to me sounds like very much a part of a productive solution.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I will take on sending out the email with that resource to the school department, and I will reach out to chief level as well to offer us up as resources and support. I wrote down some of the phrases that have been coming up as we've discussed, and I'm happy to send that either so if somebody really wants to take a first pass at a statement, I'm happy to pass that on. I don't feel that I have to do everything, and I want to make sure that everybody's feeling involved.
Yeah, I can definitely take a crack at it. And then as far as reaching out to the schools, if you want to add that, I would be willing to speak, or if you want to just because I don't have their contact info, they have mine, and they just didn't reach out to me.
Yeah, I can copy you on the email too.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can offer that up as well. Say we have a local resource as well. Okay. How is everybody feeling?
I mean, I think enough time's passed for me right now that since I've seen him and see how he's doing okay. But I was like definitely really upset at first, and it was like it piggybacked right on the event at Connor's Farm too, and that sucked. And like I didn't even know that there was a previous event. Like I didn't know that history of Connor's Farm at all. Like so that the whole thing was just kind of like, man, like come on, like why can't we have like good press for Danvers? Like
Yeah. And I mean, I was feeling very disgusted, because every day I go to work, I have the benefit of working with folks with disabilities and interacting with folks with disabilities. And it breaks my heart that someone took advantage. Whenever I hear those kinds of stories, it breaks my heart.
I was feeling very discouraged because we had a meeting, a few of us, the night before, and I felt really discouraged and sad that things like this have happened in our town. But I did feel better. Most of us, I think, were in the same group last night, and I was, re-energized that there are plenty of people who do want the same things and want to make sure that people with disabilities are certainly treated equally and can feel safe.
I think, I said last night and reiterate, I think for me, it sparked anger and outrage, but also in this sense of, and fear, right? Because of my own personal context and for the context of, the individuals that I work with and our community at large. But exhaustion was a big thing, because this particular incident got a lot of visibility, but there's a lot of things happening that are not released, that are not shared, that whether it's because of privacy and people don't want to share loudly with the community because of their own vulnerabilities, right? Or, because it's never really addressed. It brings me to this place of exhaustion. And wanting to make a change. I'm tired of hurry up and wait. I want to do that. It's that call to action, like you were saying. So.
Thank you. I do feel compelled to say for the record that last night's event was not a meeting. We had members of this commission at a separate event where the topic of disability safety came up, but not with regard to any official commission business.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. Just putting there on the official record.
Yep.
As I realized that I counted. Oh yeah, we had a number of people there.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
I'm very cognizant of open meeting law.
Yeah.
Okay. Other thoughts or comments on this particular topic?
I mean, I just think
Well,
it's,
I guess,
sorry, I was just gonna say, I feel like it's something we should just like have as like a regular agenda item essentially.
Mhm.
So that we kind of like keep up with this and, just, yeah, just keep it in the front of mind so that we can keep working towards that, whatever that means and however that manifests.
I like that.
and I would,
Good idea.
I felt a lot of the same things that you guys have mentioned. I guess, what it also makes me feel like is I would love to see if our commission can somehow provide an alternative to what's happening on social media, surrounding this particular event and, other similar events. It just seems like people maybe could be channeled into a more productive discussion. There's certainly energy out there, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see if we can provide an alternative to what's happening there that is more productive.
Mhm. Absolutely. Social media is hard.
Mhm.
It really is. I think that I would never require any of you to be part of any of the social media groups where people are having these conversations. But if you are and you feel compelled or safe enough to speak, um, pulling people back and reminding them that this commission exists is a good way. My general philosophy on interacting in town Facebook groups or town social media is to provide information, never to try to actually change somebody's mind because that doesn't work, but to rather say, this is an opportunity to let them know about the commission or let them know about, ADA accommodation, anything, whatever the topic is, to provide that information because in the long run, what what you're doing is other people are seeing what you say, not necessarily it doesn't the person that you may be trying to kind of educate may not care, but the other people who are reading it are the ones who are going to notice. And so there are a lot of people who do check in and read, the posts, the comments. I actually had somebody reach out to me today to say that there was a comment on the town's event posting for the living room conversation that was not great. Had nothing to do with the living room conversation. It was
Mhm.
it was a separate topic, but people are noticing even if they don't actually interact. So, um, if anybody wants to at some point want to have a conversation about social media and kind of how to, you know, be involved without taking an emotional or energy hit, let me know. I'm always happy to talk about that. Other thoughts? And as JD said, I like the idea of having this as be a regular topic. So, like I said, we don't have to have the answer now. This is something we can continue you know, to touch back on and to check in and see how things are going and what efforts um, are successful. And I was just gonna say, I wish that it wasn't this time of year because we're going to be heading into a time where our meetings are not our typical meeting schedule.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'd be like, it's really easy to invite people into the meeting, but I don't know what I was going to say with that. But okay, how are we on moving on to our next thing? So I see some. Okay, so okay, we will move on to our next agenda item. JD, didn't mean to put you on the spot, but if you want to give like a 2-minute overview of the CPAC resource fair.
Sure, yeah. This is my first time at one of these. It was cool meeting the other kind of like, for lack of a better word, like vendors and like people kind of offering their services there. And it was cool to kind of like meet with them because a lot of those people are working in those fields because they're part of the community. They have a disabled child or something like that. So it was good to connect with them. I didn't notice a huge amount of like students and parents coming through. But the ones that did, I think they were a little like nervous maybe, which is, justified. But I feel like it's a really good thing. Like it offers that opportunity to kind of at least like share resources between us and some other groups and kind of at least, learn names and stuff like that. I'm trying to remember who we really like spoke to there.
Yeah, I actually just pulled out one of the handouts yesterday, and now I'm blinking. It's the resource center in Salem was one
Oh
of
yeah, the folded yellow handbook
Yeah.
thing.
yeah,
The
which was
The Pathways Family Resource Center?
no, it's somebody we'd actually tried to reach out to early on, and had difficulty contacting. So I will have to go back and look at it. But Mara, did you have? Okay. The
Let's
little
take a
side thing,
drink,
like
sorry.
no, it's okay. It like changes the font a little bit, and so I thought you were unmuting. I think I echo what JD said in that it was a good way to network. I think that hopefully next year, as it's getting back in the system and they're doing it again, and there were a lot of people from the schools department, the district that were there, and so hopefully this will be bigger next year.
Were they on hiatus before this one or something, or?
They did take it, yeah. It's a pretty significant break.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that would be a kind of way to explain that, I guess. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to attending the one next year at all because it was nice to connect with those people. But I would love to kind of just chat with some of the families as well. It was nice to speak with this woman who, was talking about her daughter getting a wheelchair and kind of being able to tell her about the standing wheelchair and how that's much more available through Mass Health and Medicare and stuff like that, and how you you don't need to think of it as like, oh, this is standing so that you can grab crap in high places. It's not about that. It's about like circulation, opening up your body, pressure relief, all kinds of stuff. So it's like it really opens the door for you to kind of like just get better circulation in your body and just take care of it a little better. So it felt good to at least impart that information to a couple people that were interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I will say we'll keep an eye out for it. I think they posted their form for getting involved in September. And so when I will keep an eye out as well, when that happens, if anybody's interested in being the representative for the Accessibility Commission, you're welcome to do that. So, okay. Oh, then this would be you again, JD. Seen and heard.
I do have one other
Oh yeah.
like minor thing on the agenda that I could do in new business or something, just because I did attend that Cambridge Disability
Oh
Commission.
yes. Thank you. Yeah, let's add that to new business.
Okay. So as far as seen and heard, so I just put up the final like clipped out version of our interview, Chrissy, and it's funny like on like TikTok specifically, it gets like a lot of engagement, but it was kind of crazy. Like I posted one clip on Sunday, it got 22 views, and that it's like 20 something views still like today. And then I posted one today, which I thought was like just as good as the last clip, and it hit like, I don't know, 1,500 in a couple hours. So it is funny like how you really have to pay attention to what day and time you post on for visibility's sake. But yours were getting a lot of engagement. It was really nice to see that. I mean, you can chime in if you want, Christy, but like a lot of people were connecting with your clips from your interview because a lot of them were feeling seen, I think, because they were dealing with similar things, having invisible disabilities or stuff that people couldn't notice visually and would almost hold against them to some degree. But
Yeah. I will say, I almost forgot that they were posted. And I was at a conference this weekend, and somebody I know had seen them and referenced the, and it totally was like, it was such a shock because I just, I was at a professional conference for my work and I wasn't thinking about this. And, but it was also very cool to know that, kind of the reach that the social media posts have gotten.
That's what it feels like to be a star, and have fans.
um, yeah, you've done a really great job of editing and
Thank
getting
you.
them out there.
And so as far as an update, I shot the third episode this past Friday.
Awesome.
But before that, so this was with Mary McDonald, who is the kind of owner and proprietor of Rest Stop Ranch over in Topsfield. I can't remember if we had discussed this at any of the meetings at all. Okay. Because Beverly, who is a volunteer there, had introduced herself to me after the last living room conversation and kind of put me in contact with her. So Katrina and I went over there and we toured. It happened to be like the coldest day in like the past like 3 weeks. I was like, holy crap, it's like winter right now. But anyway, it was beautiful. We toured it. I had a nice conversation with her and her husband, and just saw the whole grounds and how they're trying to get a grant from the Christopher Reeve Foundation to build these little switchbacks because they have this beautiful pond, and the idea is that they would do an accessible kind of switchback, um, like walkway down to that, and then have an accessible dock. And the water in the dock gets like hit perfectly by sunlight and everything. And it's just this really beautiful space that kind of has this wildness to it, that allows you to almost feel like you're hiking when even if you're in your chair. And they are really dead set on having all the plants come to you. So it's not like, oh, you got to lean out of your chair to like pick a berry or look at flowers. They lean to you, which I thought was a really cool concept that I never really even considered before. So yeah, we had a really nice meeting there, and then I invited her to come on the show on Friday, and we had a really good discussion. I'm actually in the middle of editing it, and hopefully I'll have the lion's share of it done by tomorrow, if not completely done. I did want to go over there to get some drone shots of it, just because I have a buddy with like a little drone, but he's always tied up with work, so it might delay the video a little bit. And I was gonna have another episode shot tomorrow with one of the chairs of the Cambridge Disability Commission, but I think I haven't really been able to get in contact with her, so I don't think that's going to be happening. I'll probably postpone that. She was thinking about attending this meeting tonight too. I had given her her credentials, but she must have been busy. But it was a really good talk with her, and it was mostly just about the idea of caregivers and how the stress level, how it can create pretty much like, combat level PTSD in certain caregivers, especially her, and like when it came to like dementia and Alzheimer's caregiving, where you really don't know every second of what's gonna happen or when the switch is gonna flip. So it was kind of interesting to hear that from her, and she identifies as a disabled person with a spinal fusion. So I was thinking of having her on again to talk more specifically about her experience with that, because I was going over it and I was like, the interview's like 30 minutes long, and I was going to try and trim it down a little bit, but there was just a lot of good stuff in there. So I struggling with trimming any of that out. I might just leave it at 30 minutes. And she did talk about, her lived experience as a caregiver, but not so much as a disabled individual. But it was really interesting to kind of like talk to her about that, and hear about the ranch and how they're just trying to promote it, and they really want it to be something that anyone in these nearby communities or really anywhere can come and visit just with an appointment. They offer like little classes and stuff like that, and and memory cafes, and none of it costs any money.
Wow.
It's at their personal house, so you just need to make an appointment. And yeah, it
That's
went really well,
fantastic.
actually.
Thank you. I can't wait to see that interview.
Oh yeah, yeah, I think it'll be good. I just gotta get cracking a little more on that. And I told her I could help with the whatchamacallit, the grant from the SCI place, from the Christopher Reeve Foundation, just because I think they don't have a lot of experience with
Mm,
people who have like they basically they get a lot of people with dementia and Alzheimer's who are in chairs, but but they don't have anyone with a spinal cord injury
mhm.
that's like in a chair. And I think a lot of it is group homes, and it was kind of like tough to hear, but I knew it to some degree, like in the back of my head that this was the case. But like just these group homes that come in and they're like so fascinated and they love the place. I think a lot of that is because they just don't get out at all. So it's nice to have places like this that we could champion, that offer a place for these people where they don't feel like they're going to be judged or have fingers pointed at them, and they can feel like they can sort of divorce themselves from the caregiving staff a little bit and just explore in this beautiful kind of whimsical space.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I appreciate you sharing. And hopefully, this will be an opportunity with the interview for other people to learn about them as well. Which is great.
Absolutely.
Okay. Our next agenda item, and we are right on schedule, guys, is living room conversation. I just wanted to give a very quick report and an update, mostly for anybody who's watching the meeting. So last night was our second living room conversation with the Heathmere Center, Lauren from the Heathmere Center, and our topic was accessibility. Our third and final of the series is November 20th. Our topic is communication, and the two guests we're gonna have are Karen Hopkins, who is the executive director of the Beverly School for the Deaf and Children's Communication Center, and then Sarah D'Amata, who is a speech language pathologist here in Danvers Public Schools, working in the Riverside preschool program. And my hope is that, it's going to be kind of an interview conversation, and with questions that are hopefully getting to the core of that intersection between communication and disability, and kind of our cultural view that certain types of communication are more valuable than others, and what that looks like, and the impact it has on people with disabilities. So that's November 20th. I'm really looking forward to it. I would say any of us on the commission share it out. We will again have ASL interpretation. So hopefully anybody who needs that will feel comfortable joining us. And yeah, it's open to anybody, that they don't have to be in Danvers. So feel free to share widely. Anybody who has attended, anything that you'd want to add to that? Didn't have to. Fawn, feel free to head out if you need to. Okay.
I'm good for now. Thank
Okay. Okay, so last then, new business. We'll head back to JD because I know you have one thing first, and then we can move on to anybody else who has new business.
Sure, yeah, it's a short one. So I attended the Cambridge Disability Commission. I think they call it the Commission on Disability or something like that. But anyway, I met Keisha and I think her name was Emma Thurman. But they were really nice. They have, around the same size commission as us. And they seem, it was kind of funny, but also like kind of reassuring to see that it was very similar to the structure of our meetings. A lot of the stuff they talked about mirrored a lot of the things that we talk about. And kind of the big presentation they were having at the meeting at the time was this group that is basically subsidizing the cost of like accessible bicycles. And it seems like they might be doing like more than just Cambridge. So I can get the information on that place if that's something we would be interested in kind of like, I don't know, putting forward. Like I'd be happy to reach out to the woman. She seemed very, amicable and happy to talk about it. So I would be happy to reach out to her if I just find that information. But yeah, it was nothing really crazy to report. It was pretty straightforward and very similar to what we do.
It's great. Also very reassuring.
Yeah.
As we find footing, knowing that other communities that have more established commissions are kind of on the same path. So that's great. Um, has anybody else had an opportunity to attend other meeting? No, okay. I know I have the schedule as well to kind of, actually it's right here. So one that I was hoping to get to, where did it go? Lowell, at some point. They're on the second Thursday of the month. So I'm gonna look that up and see if I can get to one of theirs. Okay, other new business.
I just wanted to bring attention to, because I thought it was a nice opportunity that the Danvers Recreation put out a survey that specifically was looking at open space and regarding their open space and recreation plan. I was just looking it up. And they shared it, with the idea that they're looking at prioritizing things happening in town with open space, and looking for where people place their support for projects. But like some of the projects we're looking at, like Sandy Beach, LaBelle's Grove, a mountain bike pump track, multi-purpose turf field, lighting at fields throughout town, looking at land acquisition, upgrading playground surfacing, building an intergenerational community center / community gathering space, multi-purpose sport courts, pickleball courts, dog park improvements, and it just seemed like, and I'll be interested to hear what the results of that survey are and what kind of goes forward, and thinking about, where we may be able to lend some of our support and resources. And
Yeah. Do you? I haven't done it yet. I have seen it advertised, but does it have a date, a closing date for the survey?
you know what? I think I didn't see that it did.
Okay. I was thinking that if we can kind of keep an eye on that, and then invite the rec department maybe to come to one of our meetings to discuss.
It just seemed it seemed like, a great kind of like thing to kind of think about. And then I know in town that they just opened that little pocket park. I haven't had a chance to go over and check it out. I was curious if anybody had, and wondered what the accessibility looked like over there.
You mean like over behind the fish
Yeah.
market? Okay, yeah, where they just, so my wife was just over there, but I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I'll definitely make a point to check that out. And kind of speaking of accessible parks, do any of you know if there's like any accessible features on the playground over at Endicott Park?
I don't think so.
No, I
haven't
don't
been
think so.
there recently, unless there's been any updates, which I don't think there have been, but I don't think so.
Because I've been meaning to go.
I think what they have
They
is,
do have swings.
sorry.
I'm sorry. They do have
They have
swings.
they have this specialized swings, and I believe some of the picnic tables within the park are specially designed so a wheelchair can access them. But other than that, I agree. I don't think that there are any features that I can remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go over and take a look because my wife Katrina, she ran the Boston Marathon for the Play Brigade, which
yeah.
they update playgrounds to make them more accessible. And I thought, oh, that could potentially be a target for them, would be if that place, or if you guys had thoughts about a better spot in Danvers that I could kind of like point them towards that. I don't know if they're going to be super busy or not, but I just thought it would be a good idea because they were actually kind of promoting Seen and Heard, and I was like, oh yeah, Play Brigade, I forgot about them. I wonder if, you know, we have any stuff here that they could do, but.
I
Yeah.
do know in regards to playgrounds, we do have in the works, if you remember um, I believe it was the CPAC in collaboration with the school. They hosted a bubble day.
Oh yeah, the Bubble Day.
And so I don't know when they're intending on installing the communication boards, but that is something that's going to happen at, you know, the playgrounds throughout town at some point. I do know that there was a community member living in Beverly that did fundraising to raise to raise funds for communication boards, and those communication boards have been installed in Beverly at various playgrounds and like public playgrounds. There's like Lynch Park. There's one over by Cove. There's a few different parks that they have, and then I heard that the elementary school playgrounds as well as the preschool playground in Beverly was going to be getting communication boards hopefully in the next few weeks. So I anticipate, you know, those projects started around the same time. So we hopefully soon we'll see those in our playgrounds.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that reminder too. That's great. And I think that, you know, kind of that also adds more credence to inviting the rec department to come and talk to us, because there are a lot of opportunities for us to either give feedback or break leg, give feedback or ask questions and give recommendations. So great. Okay. Other new business?
No. Did you say break a leg to Fawn?
I did. So that's
Is
a
she going to a
play.
play?
Yes.
Oh,
So her daughter, sorry, yes, that was right as we were opening the meeting. Her daughter is in a show tonight at the high
nice.
school. Yeah. So that's why she had to leave a little bit early, because it starts at 7. Okay. Anything else to add this evening? No? Okay. I will, as I said, as we were first starting, should know more about our November date, which November 14th, as soon as Jasmine is back in the office. And that would be, you know, the training with joint training with HRIC, and possibly a very truncated meeting. And then we'll move into December. And so our next scheduled regular meeting will be in January, which, give me just a second and I can say the exact date for anybody watching. So our next regularly scheduled meeting is January 23rd at 6 p.m. in the Toomey room. I don't know that we have any reason to expect to have to be virtual unless there's snow. So, okay. So not hearing any additional new business, I am willing to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Okay, second. I see a hand. Okay, second. All those in favor say or indicate your approval.
Aye.
Okay, so we are officially adjourned at 6:54. Thank you to Town Hall staff for getting this meeting started. Thank you to DCAT for televising, and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.